All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Pain Points webinar series. My name is Jessie Devine, and I'm the Community Engagement Manager here at QuoteWerks. Our goal today is to dive into common business challenges that companies face when creating quotes and proposals. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay this time around. We know your time is valuable, so these webinars are going to be fairly short, and we're going to do our best to keep it under 30 minutes. We want you to be able to apply these solutions right away, and we want these webinars to be as quick and efficient as your quoting process is or will be. So with every webinar, we're going to go over a quick agenda of what I'll be covering today and show you how easy it is to resolve some of these pain points you're facing when it comes to quotes and proposals. So first, we're going to go over the pain points, then the solution. We'll have a live demo and a Q&A. So the Q&A is going to be in the questions box here. So I want to encourage you guys to ask questions in the question box. I'll circle back to them at the end of the webinar. And if for some reason I can't get to the questions, I'm going to be sure to follow up with you with a call or an email. So I'll be sure to answer any questions that you guys put in there, whether it's related to this particular webinar or not. Additionally, all of our webinars are recorded, and we'll send you a link of the webinar when it's been uploaded to our website and our YouTube page. And if you haven't done so already, we definitely recommend subscribing to our YouTube page so that you get notified anytime we have a training video that's uploaded to our site. We also post a lot of helpful information on our social media sites, so definitely follow us there too. So today's pain point is obtaining signed agreements from customers taking too long. So obviously this is a huge pain point for so many businesses and for many reasons. So let's just cover the traditional way of creating a quote and sending it to your customer and how and where these pain points come into play. So maybe you've spent a few hours or even days working on a quote, and now you're ready to send the PDF to your customer. You send it to your customer, and you have no idea if they've looked at the quote, let alone looked at the email that you've sent to them. And a couple weeks later, they've decided to view your quote, and they want you to explain to them what they're looking at and want you to make some revisions on that quote. So now you have to go make those changes that the customer has requested. That might take you a couple of minutes or a couple hours, depending on what it is, and you have to make sure your calculations are correct. You then have to resend the quote to your customer, and again, you have no idea if they viewed that quote. They are now ready to move forward, let's say, a couple days later, but now they need to add some pertinent documents to the quote. This again takes some time. And finally, you're ready to have them move, they're ready to move forward. They have to then print the PDF, sign it by hand, then scan it back and send it to you. And after all of that, you have to request payment, and the process can take time. So the difficulty with all of this is that there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of bumps in the road that make getting agreements signed take a very long time. That quote to cash cycle is quite long. So how can we alleviate some of these pain points? QuoteValet is really a great tool that QuoteWerks has. It's an add-on. For those of you who don't know what QuoteValet is, it's an online quote delivery and acceptance vehicle for QuoteWerks. Many of you already use this, which is why you're here today. We want you to educate you on the tools you have. But if you don't, we're more than happy to provide a 30-day trial for you so that you can fully test out the functionality, see if it's a good fit. All you have to do is add credentials, and it's on for you. So it's very easy to set up. So how will QuoteValet help obtain signatures for your agreements faster, you might be asking? Well, while traditional PDFs or other documents might be too large, a file can get stuck in spam. QuoteValet will simply upload your quote to a web page. So this web page link is going to be sent to your customer, and this is going to ensure smoother delivery to your customer's inbox. So as a sales rep, you'll know when your customer has viewed the quote when they click that web link. It's a really great tool because then you can see if they haven't viewed the quote, and it's a great way to make that follow-up call to see if they have any questions. So great way to see if they've even viewed that document at all. If they haven't viewed the quote, QuoteValet will send auto reminders to the sales rep and or the customer. So it's a great way to ensure that they take a look at the quote you built for them. What's also really nice about the web link is that you can really uh, get interactive with the quote, so your customer can change the quantity, they can select optional items or mutually exclusive options. So instead of having them to ask you to make changes, they can make the changes on their own within your parameters. So it's a really cool way to make sure that um, the quote is changed and updated to their liking without you having to make those revisions. This will ultimately shorten the time for your revisions and changes and get the document signed a lot quicker. What's really also neat is that you can add videos on your quote. These videos can be related to explaining the quote itself or a video uh, discussing the items on the quote, whatever it is. It'll help your customer understand the quote better, which will then help them move forward faster. Your customer can also ask questions on the quote, and sales reps can respond directly on the quote. This will allow the communication to be in just one central location, rather than separate emails going back and forth with confusion. Your customers can also file share with QuoteValet quote. So if you, with any pertinent information, so whether it's like a drawing, some images, documents, SOWs, PO documentations, whatever it may be, your customer can upload, and the sales rep can also upload information too, should it pertain to the quote. Most importantly, QuoteValet allows your customer to accept the quote electronically. This allows your customer to either type in their name, or they can do like a finger signing or mouse signature, so that they don't have to print, sign, and send back the information. All they have to do is type and click accept, and the quote is accepted. If your customer accepts the quote, your rep can get a text message of that notification, and then they can make follow-up with the payment, or they can actually just pay on that quote if you have the payment set up. So as you can see, there are many features within QuoteValet that help accelerate the process of obtaining your customer's signature. So let me show you a live demo of how we can use QuoteValet, and we're going to start from scratch. So let me sign in really quick. All right, here we go. So we have a brand new quote. I've already selected my customer for QuoteValet. We have Joe Hops, and I'm going to pretend I'm a t-shirt company today, not just QuoteWerks, but a t-shirt company. And Joe wants a few t-shirt selections. So we're going to start building our quote. I'm going to add some section headers. I just right-clicked, and I'm adding some section headers. Section headers are really nice to divide up your quotes into sections so that it's really easy to read. So I'm going to start with optional item. Optional. Let's do optional. Another section header. We'll do services. And I will add products section header as well. All right. So what I'm going to do is add some products to my quote. And I'm going to add some t-shirts. So Joe told me he knew he wanted short sleeves, so I'm going to just give him one selection of short sleeve shirts and add it to my product section. He knew he wanted a couple options for short sleeves, so I'm going to give him two options to choose from. So I'm double clicking here, but you can simply just add it here. So I'm going to add that. I know Joe needs some services, so I'm going to add those services onto the quote for him. I'm going to just do 10 labor hours here instead of B. And finally, design services are going to be optional should he want that. So a couple things I want to do to this quote before I'm ready to send it off to him. I want to make this quote as dynamic as possible. I want him to be able to make the revisions so that he can move forward with the quote faster. So I know that he needs short sleeve t-shirts. He told me he wanted this brand. but I want to make sure that he has the right quantity. So I want to make sure that he knows this is short sleeve as my header. Drag that. And all right, here we go. Oh, all right. Okay, here we go. All right. This is long sleeve. All right, so I want to make sure that Joe can change the quantity on the short sleeves. I knew he wanted this particular brand, but I wasn't sure how much. So I'm going to start with 10. But if he wants to change it, all I have to do is change the line attribute for this. To change the line attribute, all I have to do is select the product, right-click on it on the line item, and do Edit Line Attribute. This is going to bring the line attributes window. The other way to change a line attribute is going to be to click the A icon right in your Document Items tab. So it's going to take you to the same place. And in order for him to change quantity, I just have to say, allow quantity change, and select yes. Press OK, and I'll know that now Joe can change the quantity. How do you know that? All you have to do is select the line item, and you can see right here what your line attribute is going to be right here. Allow quantity change at the very bottom of the page. Now, what's really cool about line quantity change is that I have this set up as actually a volume-based pricing for this particular product. So if you were to change it to a higher amount, let's say 50, you'll see that the price is going to change. So this is a really great tool. If you have volume-based pricing, that will be dynamically changed for you as the customer changes the quantity. Now, I wasn't sure which long sleeve Joe wanted, so I'm going to make this mutually exclusive. I'm going to change the quantity. Okay, so Joe can select one of these two. So I'm going to select both of them and change the line attribute for these two items. We want to make them mutually exclusive so that he can only select one of the two items. So what we do here is go to line attributes again, click A, and we want to make sure to select that it is optional, but we want to label it as an exclusive group so that we know that he can only select one of two. So we're going to call this long sleeve. You can have multiple different exclusive groups as long as there's different labels for them. So if I had multiple different exclusive groups, we can name it different things. Okay, so now we know that this is a mutually exclusive long sleeve option. We want to make sure one of them is selected, so we can click A and just make sure it's selected. All right, so that is how you set up mutually exclusive options. It's really simple. Next, we have our screen printing labor on here. Maybe he doesn't know what that is, so I want to make sure that there's a video associated with it should he want to see what that's all about. He doesn't know what these services mean. So in order to add a video, we can actually have it set up so it's defaulted to this particular product, which I already have it set up that way. But if you wanted to do a one-off video that's associated with this product, you can actually just click the picture icon here. And you can see you can either change the picture or add a video. And all you have to do is add the video. Oh, this one already has the video, but you can actually add just the web link right from YouTube onto the service or the line item, and it's going to actually show inside of your QuoteValet document. And I'll show you what that means in a second. If you wanted it to be a default item, default video, all you have to go to do is to that particular product. So this one is service, manual screen labor, edit that item. There's a video tab there. You can actually add it there. So really cool. I already have a video associated with it, but let me just edit another one that doesn't have it. You can see here, you add a title and the video URL. Simple as that. All right. So finally, we also want to make sure that some of the optional items he can select if he would like this item. So I want design services on there just in case he wants that. So again, going to either right click, edit line attributes, or click the A button, and we can make this optional. So we just want this to be a checkbox. We're going to make it optional. Click yes, and I'm going to make sure that it's selected. When it's selected, with any optional item that's selected, it's actually going to total at the bottom of the page. If you don't have it selected, it's not going to total at the bottom of the page. So we want to make sure that it's included in the total. So I'm going to have it selected so there isn't any sticker shock should you decide to move forward and then see that the total has changed. So I'm going to press OK. And all is set there. Now at this point, I think I'm pretty ready to move forward with the document. I want to make sure I have my customer stack selected. And then under the Sale Info tab, I have the option to set an expiration date. Right now it's set for July 14th. And I can actually add payment options. And I have a different webinar that I've done previously that's recorded on our Pain Points webinar page about customer payments. But I have the ability to select multiple different payment options. I have everything that I want here. So I think I'm ready to go. So all I have to do is make sure that the output is what I want it to look like. And I just click the deliver button. That might have been fast, but I'm going to click the deliver button. And I can select my cover page just as I would any regular PDF document that you might give traditionally. I have my layout selected. Any literature that you may want to include, you can actually include in there as well as spec sheets or any links that you might have. So just like you would a regular PDF, you would set this up. But this time, I'm going to select Upload to QuoteValet. This is where QuoteValet comes in play. It's going to create that web link for you. So let's click that. All right, we have to make sure it's saved. We're on Joe Brewing. All right, so now it's been uploaded to QuoteValet, or the upload to QuoteValet window is available. We can view the PDF by just clicking here, so we can make sure that that is set. And what's really nice is that your reminder options are also available here so that you can send those reminders or your customer gets the reminders. This is a manual setting, so this can be changed per document. If you wanted it defaulted, I'll show you where to do that at the very end of this webinar. So these reminders are set here. We actually talked about this again in the previous webinar, but remind recipients if the document has not been viewed. So this is a great way to nudge your customer to say, hey, you haven't viewed it, make sure to view the document. If the quote is expiring, it will send a reminder 3 days before that. But you can also change these dates. So we can have that checked if we want to. The other option is if you don't want to have the email auto reminder set to your customer directly, you can have it sent to your sales rep. So if the customer has not viewed the document, it will remind the sales rep to pick up the phone, call them, and ask them about the quote or their interest. So also, when the document is expiring, it's a great way to send a reminder to the sales rep to pick up the phone and ask them about moving forward. So really great tools. They can be defaulted. Again, I'll show you how to do that at the end of the webinar. So let's just press OK here. So we can now upload the document. And here we get to preview what the quote actually looks like. So this is a sales rep facing view. This isn't for your customer. But we can see exactly how that quote looks. So you have the customer name, who prepared it. We actually have videos that are defaulted, which I'll show you how to add that so you can have it so that you have certain videos showing for certain quotes, invoices, orders. If you have any specific documentation that videos are associated with, it's a great way to just have them defaulted for your customer to view. If you click here, you can actually see the actual PDF of the document. So really easy for your customer to see that. If you want to upload that, you can see that. Cover page with the actual PDF itself so you can see, exactly who's seeing that. All right, so we can see that this is the sales rep facing view, but let's view it as a customer just so we can pretend to be the client for a moment. Go to the QuoteValet tab here. You can actually view the customer facing page. All right, so Let's say I'm Joe and I'm going to interact with this quote a little bit. All right, I see there's short sleeve. I actually want 100 of those. Watch as this will be updated. I'm going to say update. And you can see the total has been updated. The unit prices have been updated so that it's appropriately changing. I can select a different option for, the t-shirt selection that I want. And what's really nice is if you click the picture, it's going to enlarge so you can get a better image of that. And then I can actually see the video that I had selected. So what's really cool about it is you will actually just preview the video right within your QuoteValet quote, and you won't exit that quote. So you can still watch the video and everything. So really neat tool. I highly recommend you guys use it if you haven't already. All right, setup fee, and we have that design service. Again, you can see that it's checked and unchecked. So mutually exclusive options are very dynamic, and so is the unchecking and checking of the box item. So we can also select the different payment options. I have credit card purchase, e-check as an option here. You can even do surcharges, and that changes as well. So as you update your quote totals, it will update your payment options as well. Really cool tool. If I wanted to accept, I can just click accept and do an e-signature and just type in the name. You can also do the finger signature or the mouse signature, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second before I accept this quote. Another option, I can actually upload documents right onto the quote. So file sharing is great. It's really common, you need the SOW or the PO information or documents related to the quote that your customer or the sales rep wants to share. This is a great place to do that. It's all in one location. So I could just select, logo and add that. And your sales rep can actually access this information. And what's nice is if you are a sales rep, you can actually delete information if you want to. If you're a customer, you just upload and that's a one-time thing. And what's really great also is your customers can ask questions right on the quote. So instead of going, to detached emails that aren't related or, where the quote isn't even referenced, you don't know who's sending it and why, this is a great place for your customer to just ask questions. So I'd like to have a mouse signature, please, and good spelling. All right, so if we submit this as a customer, we'll be able to see a timestamp of when they did it, also that who wrote it. So really nice, easy, dynamic way to communicate in one central location. Okay, so let's close out for a second and refresh this QuoteValet activity. All right, we got notified the options that customers changed through QuoteValet. You can see the payment option was changed, quantity was changed. It gives you this dynamic information of what the customer actually did. We press OK, and you can see the activity here. So what's really cool is your sales rep will get an email when they see the first view of the quote, but any additional time your customer views the quote, they can see it here. So they can see how interested your customer is if they've looked at it, 4 times that day with different IP addresses. Really neat way to get some insight into your customer and their level of interest or lack of interest if they haven't viewed it. Okay, so what I want to do is actually make this quote a written signature. If you haven't done so already, it's a very simple process. So we want to go to Tools, Options, go to the QuoteValet tab. This is where all your QuoteValet settings live. Go to QuoteValet Setup, and we want to go to the Templates tab. Now, I always recommend you should make a copy of any QuoteValet or any layout changes you're going to make, just in case. It does require some CSS and HTML knowledge if you want to do some serious customizations, but the written signatures is really easy to do. What we're going to do is make a copy here, create a new template. So do a gold star, and I'm going to name this, written signature. Really simple. We're going to create the template. All right. And what I want to do, all I have to do is do customer facing with written signature. This is a document template that is available inside of your QuoteValet right now, so there is nothing special you need to do. All you have to do is customer facing with written signature, make it a default, and click save, and that's it. Really easy. All right, now it's going to change it to a written signature. So how do we do it? The most important part, sorry about that, the written signature. So we actually want to go to re-upload to QuoteValet here, and we want to select the written signature, which is down here. So if we wanted to change the QuoteValet layout, just go to re-upload to QuoteValet, change the drop-down to written signature, and then click upload. I skipped right over that. Sorry about that. So now we have that set. So we have the written signature portion, or should be there. Aha, okay, great. So we have, the PO number. It's going to be Joe Hops. And I can just, if I had great handwriting, do Joe Hops there. And all I have to do is click accept, and the quote has been accepted. All right. So if I had a credit card payment option or anything like that, they could actually select Pay Now. I selected accepting terms, but if I had changed my mind as a customer, we could do that at last minute with whatever selections you already had for them. So I could do this credit card payment. I don't have credit card set up, or e-check. So they can actually change it should they want to. So simple as that, the customer has now accepted. When they accept the quote, they actually get an email with the acceptance package. And so the sales rep can also access that. That can be accessed under, again, the QuoteValet tab. If I refresh this, you can see that the quote has now been won because the customer accepted it, and it's going to convert it to an order. If you guys are using any kind of CRM or PSA, this is a really neat tool because it's automatically going to update your CRM or PSA opportunity to won. So if you're integrating it with anything, it's a great way to make sure that your sales forecasts are streamlined. So I'm going to press OK. And you can see the payment has been accepted by the customer. And if I wanted to retrieve the acceptance package, all I have to do is click right here. And I can view the file. And we can see here what the quote looks like. So we have the actual quote screen captured. It's going to have the IP address of the person that actually signed it with their signature, so as well as the actual document itself. So really great way to capture that signature electronically without them having to print, sign, scan, and send back. This is going to capture and obtain that signature so much faster. So as you can see, that's a really easy way to get that information. So let me talk about some of the setup that I talked about for auto reminders, and we already did the written signatures. So let me show you that. And then I'll get to the questions right at the end. I see them coming in. All right, so tools, options. Again, you'll see that in QuoteWerks, a lot of the settings, this is where you'll live. Go to the QuoteValet tab. Go to QuoteValet Setup. All right, under the activity notifications, the reminder options, this is where those defaults are going to be set. So this is where if you want to make sure that every single quote moving forward will always get these reminders, this is where you're going to set them, make sure that they're checked to your liking, and press OK. If your sales rep wanted to manually change them in the future, they can do that when they click the QuoteValet upload. Also, the written signatures, we showed you that, but that's going to be under your templates. You can change that here. Something else I want to show you with the notifications is obviously in the QuoteValet activity, you can see the notifications there, but there's also a QuoteValet dashboard. If you have multiple quotes and you guys have high volume of quotes, this is a really good place to actually see what quote activity you have. So we use this obviously internally at QuoteWerks, but it's a great way to see, hey, I have a few orders that have come in, I have to process them. It's an easy snapshot tool. You can see which quotes have been viewed, which quotes have been accepted, and green is which ones have been paid. So really good tool to go through, see what activity is going on in one central location. So um, really great when it comes to, closing a sale. You really want it to be a two-way conversation. QuoteValet is going to be a great way to do that. And as a reminder, we'll be sending a recording of this webinar to all of our attendees. Um, you can subscribe to our YouTube page or get notified of new training videos we upload. I want to add that we pride ourselves on having awesome support. We offer free trials, again, with QuoteValet. It doesn't matter which edition of QuoteWorks you have. QuoteValet can be an add-on to any version of QuoteWorks you have. So I'm happy to provide a 30-day trial. If you just send in the questions inbox that you want to trial or in the chat, I can provide that to you following this webinar. We have over 200 videos of training on our YouTube and videos page on our website. If you just go to the support tab on our homepage and that drop down, this is going to have all the resources that you need to access, like our help documentation. We also have, the live and recorded webinars like what we're doing now. We also have a ton of services. So if you wanted to do just a quick sales rep training or quick proficiency booster, those are available to you. So go on to our services tab in our homepage and you'll be able to see them all there. And of course, our phone and email support, we are available from 9 to 5. So any questions like that, definitely email us. And so let me stop this recording.